Hi, Shepherd's Pie. Greetings from the Philippines. I'm back for a coffee and a chat. So, the reason I'm making this video today is I watched a YouTube video yesterday and it bothered me a bit. Don't know why it's bothered me so much, but it's been playing on my mind. I'm not going to mention the channel and I'm not going to mention the name of the guy who made the video because I don't want people to think that I'm digging him out. Seemed like a nice guy. I'd never watched any of his videos before. An American guy. And he made a video, and I think the title was Warning. Don't come to, if you're a single guy, don't come to Dumaguete. Now, obviously, because I live in Dumaguete, I thought, this will be interesting. Why is he saying, don't come here? And I watched it. He's set up in Valencia, outside his house or apartment or whatever, basically saying along the lines that he was in Dumaguete, he liked the city, thought it was a great place, but he'd found it, I don't know whether to say very hard or impossible, to meet women here. And that the reason was, or one of the reasons was, there aren't any nightclubs or bars in Dumaguete. So let's break down that first bit, because that's not true. Now, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm sure he just doesn't know they're here. But there are lots. I mean, lots of bars and lots of what I would class as a nightclub. But if you're talking about a nightclub to me, a nightclub is a place where it's a bar, it stays open later, it's got a dance floor, a DJ, or whatever. I mean, that to me is a definition of a nightclub. And there's quite a few. I mean, there's at least 5 I can think of the top of my head that I go to regularly. And one of the things you'll find in a place like Dumaguete, every month you find somewhere new. You know, every month I find a place I didn't know was there before. But if we take the oldest and the most famous one here, you've got Why Not on the Boulevard. Not my favourite place, to be honest. Not somewhere I would probably go through choice. But when I say through choice, I mean, I've been there a few times in the last month, but no one was forcing my arm behind my back, making me go. It's just, I was out with some Filipinos, girlfriends, friends. They like to go there. They think it's a fun place. So I went. But I mean, me personally, by myself or with expat friends, I probably wouldn't go there, but you can have fun there. Whether you like the place or not, it's a nightclub. And it has a mix of expats and a mix of Filipinos. But if you go up the road 3 kilometres to North Point, you've got a few places there. You've got a place called A Hire, which is like a new bar. I mean, it's a really trendy area, the North Point. It's new. It's got lots of restaurants and lots of bars. You've got a place called A Hire. They make fantastic cocktails there. They've got a dance floor. They have a DJ each time I've gone there. Not quite sure what time they stay open to, because I've always left about 11, 12 o'clock. But you just go down the road a little bit, you've got a place called The Hyde, which is like one of the exclusive nightclubs here. It's got a little VIP area. You go in there, you've got to pay an entrance fee. I think it's like 300 pesos or whatever. Full of young Filipinos. Lots of women in there. You go directly next door, you've got the Tiki Bar. Friday, Saturday nights, that place is heaving. It's got 2 floors. It's got like a dance floor on the bottom floor, and it's got a DJ, and you go upstairs, there's a VIP area. If you've gone to the Hyde and paid to get in there, you can get VIP entry in upstairs in the Tiki Bar to their VIP section. It's not great, but obviously it's owned by the same people. There's another place. Now I'm going to butcher the name of this. I don't know if it's called Scott's or Scoots or somewhere like that. I've only been once. A mate of mine took me there a couple of weeks ago, but that's a short ride on a scooter. They've got a DJ, dance floor, full of Filipinos. And if you go over to Sibulan, you've got like a couple of places there. So they open 24 hours on the weekends. Again, all of the places I'm talking about now are full of Filipinos. There are very few expats there. When I go out, I've been out there the last couple of weekends with my friend Frankie. You might have seen him in previous videos. We were probably the only expats there. Might have seen one or two, but mainly Filipinos and lots of women. And the reason I'm saying this is our friend in the other video was saying it's really difficult to meet women here and there's no places to meet them and there's nowhere to go. Well, there are, mate. There are. There are lots of places in Dumaguete. Because what he also said in the video was it was a student city. But there were, I think he said 18 or 19 universities, colleges here. Now, I'm not sure if that figure's right. It could well be. Seems a lot, but he might be including some of the local municipalities. But either way, Dumaguete, whichever way you look at it, is a student city. So, do the maths. How are you going to have all these students here but not have any nightlife? Of course, there are places for to go here. You know, if you want a good night out. But as I say, I don't think for 1 second he was like lying or trying to mislead. I just don't think he'd ever been to them. And I say that's one of the things that bothered me because I'm thinking if you're giving advice to people and telling them not to come to a place, well, shouldn't you try and find out about the place first? Because some people might watch that video and take it as I'm not going there because there's no nightlife. Now, I'm not for 1 second saying the nightlife is as good as, say, it is in Cebu or can't say it now, Manila, almost said Madrid. But I'm sure the nightlife here is not as good as Madrid either. But we ain't talking about Madrid. But it's not bad here. It's not bad here. It's one of the reasons I'm living in Dumaguete now. Not because of the nightlife, because I don't go out as much as I used to go out. I mean, I'm a bit more settled now we moved in the house. But I like the fact in Dumaguete, every night of the week, there is somewhere you can go if you want to. It's got a lot of restaurants. Again, you can meet women in restaurants. It's got a lot of bars, and there generally seems to be entertainment in one of them. There'll always be a quiz night somewhere. If that's your bag, there'll be a darts competition somewhere. There'll be a live band somewhere. And every night there is a nightclub open. I mean, why not? It's open 7 days a week. I'm not sure what the North Point's like during the week. I only tend to go up there on a Friday or a Saturday, but I'm sure that, well, I know a lot of the restaurants and that are open there, and they are full of Filipinos, and a hell of a lot of them are women. So it's just not true. There is nightlife in Dumaguete. Would I call it a party city? No, but there is nightlife here. So that was point number one. Point number two, and this is what troubled me the most, to be honest with you. He was saying that the other major problem with Dumaguete was it's an affluent city. That basically a lot of these students, and he was talking about students a lot, so rightly or wrongly, I get the impression he was looking for younger women. I won't say young women, but younger women, student age, because he kept talking about students and how they had, a lot of money here. Now, I imagine he's my age. I mean, if he's into, like, student age women, well, power to him. I'm not going to make any judgment on that. But the problem he was saying was that because they had money, they weren't interested in Western guys because they didn't need the Western guys' money. That some places you go in the Philippines, women will be attracted to you because they perceive you as having wealth. But it didn't work that way in Dumaguete. And I'm thinking, all right, there might be an element of truth to that. I mean, I'm sure there is. But his next step was to say that you should seek out the places which are poorer. Places like Leyte, where there's not so much money, a lot more poverty. Because if you go to places like that, the women are going to be more attracted to you because you've got money. Now, That got me thinking, because it ties into a video I was watching a few weeks ago, which a regular guy did. Now, I like Scott. I'm not knocking regular guy. Did an interview with him a while back. Good guy as far as I'm concerned. I have heard he is having some problems at the moment, but I don't know what they are. I don't want to get involved in that. To be honest, I watched a video a couple of weeks ago, which I'm talking about now, but I hadn't watched his channel in months. I mean, not because I just haven't watched it. His content's good. But anyway, in this video, he was saying that the days of coming to the Philippines where you get off the plane and women would be coming up to you and saying, handsome man, and all this kind of stuff, and throwing themselves at you because of your money, Western wealth, had gone in most places. Well, if that's true, well, thank Christ. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. If the people of this country have got prosperous enough that they don't need to throw themselves at Westerners, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? But his advice was, there were 3 of the poorest places in the Philippines, and he named them. Trouble is, I can't remember them now because I wasn't particularly interested in going to these places, but one of them was definitely Leyte. I can't remember what the other 2 were. But the idea was that you would go to these places and you'd stand out because there weren't many Western men there, and because of that, women are poor, so they'll throw themselves at you. You'll go in a coffee shop. If you go to the same coffee shop, this was one of his bits of advice, go the same time every day for 2 or 3 days. The girls who work in a coffee restaurant will start spreading the word there's a Western guy there, and women will come over and introduce themselves and come and meet you because you're from the West. Well, this is the thing I cannot get my head around, because this is basically what this other guy was saying on his video. Now, I don't think, look, it depends what you're looking for. If we're going to let's put this into 3 groups. You're looking for, one night stands, casual encounters, okay. Or you're looking for a long-term partner, the future Mrs. whoever. Or maybe you're probably looking for a bit of both. You're looking for, a bit of casual fun, hopefully meet the right person, and then maybe settle down with them, but don't rush into it, etc., etc. Well, I'm not going to cast any moral judgments on any of those. Do what you want to do, whatever floats your boat. But from my point of view, I don't think that's a very sound foundation for a relationship. I get so many people who put comments on my channel saying, when you get a girlfriend, your costs will rise up, and you'll become a walking ATM and all the rest of it, and they're going to want you to give money with a family in, etc., etc. Now, I don't know how many of these guys have got valid points. These are just comments. I've got no idea what the histories are. Maybe some of them are right, maybe some of them are wrong, maybe the truth lies in the middle. All I'm saying is, if the basis of your relationship in the beginning was the fact that you had money, and you purposely went to places where there was poverty and the women don't have money, and you went there with the intention of attracting them by the fact that you have got money, well, why in God's name are you going to be surprised when they're looking for money a couple of months down the line and they're asking for this, for that? You're the one who's gone there and sought out these poor women, showing off the fact that you've got money. This is the thing I don't understand about, because again, I'm not making any moral judgments. I know I keep saying that, but I'm not. I'm looking at it the way I look at things. If I go out to a club or whatever, rightly or wrongly, I hope if I meet a woman that she finds me attractive to some extent, or she finds me funny, or we get on, we click personality-wise. I don't want her to, just hook up with me because she thinks I've got money. Who wants that? I think there's a name for that, isn't there? Now, one thing I should have said at the beginning, Because he makes a mention as well in the video about there isn't a titty bar in Dumaguete. There's no titty bars, as he called them. Well, I don't think there's titty bars in most of the Philippines. I mean, as far as I know, I might be wrong. I say that because I only really know Siquijor and Dumaguete. They're the two places I've spent a length of time in. But I've heard that you've got a lot of that in Angeles City. You've got some areas in Manila. And I believe there are some in Cebu City. But like I say, I've never been to those places. I spent one night in Manila on transit catching a flight. So I don't know. But I also hear on the grapevine that those places aren't that great compared to places in Thailand like Pattaya or Vietnam. So, I mean, if you're looking for titty bars and that kind of action, you know, you're looking for bar girls, then you're probably better going to Thailand or Vietnam. Certainly, if you come to the Philippines, you want to be in Angeles City, or you want to be in Cebu, or you want to be in Manila. Yeah, 100%. You don't want to be in Dumaguete if that's what you're looking for. But this is one of the things I don't get about this whole concept of getting women just because you've got money. Because I lived in Pattaya for a while, and I'm going around in circles here, and I knew a lot of sex tourists there. I mean, Pattaya's full of sex tourists. Believe it or not, I wasn't a sex tourist. The reason I was living in Jomtien, my plan was always to move up to the mountains, which I did. But I needed to learn the language first, build a little network of friends and things before I did. Because if I'd just gone up straight to the mountains from day one, I would never have been able to communicate with people. So I spent the first few months in Jomtien learning the language. Now, I know a lot of, and during that time, I met a lot of sex tourists, you know, and I'm making no judgment about that. I've got nothing against these people. I've made some good friends there. I've spoken about them on the channel before. But the point is, they were very aware of what the game was. You know, they were paying for service from the bar girls, and they were getting that service. You know, and both parties were happy. They were spending their money, the bar girls were receiving the money. They weren't walking around Pattaya expecting women to throw themselves at them because they had money, but then not give them any money. You know what I mean? And that to me makes sense. I get the logic behind that. If that's what floats your boat, then do that. But this idea that you're going to come to the Philippines, walk around, because you've got wealth, women are going to throw themselves at you, but you've got no intention of sharing that wealth. You're going to go to a poor area, you're going to get with a woman, she's going to sleep with you on the basis that you've got money, but you're just going to treat it as a one-night stand. You're not going to pay for it. And I'm not saying she wants you to pay for it. What I'm saying is, it seems a strange way of looking at, excuse me, I can't stop coughing now. I will get through this. Yeah, I can't relate to it. I really can't. I don't understand. I've got no problem with people doing that. If that's what he wants to do, then do it. But if that's really the way you look at the life, and that's the way you want to live it, then how the hell can you be surprised if people start, you know, treating you as an ATM? I mean, you have gone there with the intention of pulling women, not based on your looks, not based on your personality, but because you've got money. Or maybe I'm being a bit too hard on him. Maybe the way his mind works is they will be attracted to him because he has money, and then he'll get to talk to them, and then they will, you know, grow to like him, etc. I don't know. And I'm going to say one last thing about him as well, before we get to the reason I'm making this video, the single guys, and why I'm saying you should come to Dumaguete. Because I think if you're a single guy and you're thinking about coming to the Philippines, not for a holiday, if you're coming for a holiday, if you're coming to the Philippines for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, I would not recommend coming to Dumaguete. It's not a holiday destination. You know, there are much better places you can go. You can go to Boracay, you can go to Siargao, you can go to Cebu, you can go to Siquijor. There's lots of places better than Dumaguete. I'm talking as a place to live or spend an extended period of time. But yeah, going back to what he was saying, his advice as well was, which I think this tells you a lot about how someone's mind works. And again, I struggled to get my head around it because he was basically saying he liked Dumaguete, apart from the fact it was difficult to get women here. So he recommended that you went to some of the poorer places where women would be attracted to you with your money, find the woman you want, and then bring her back to Dumaguete because Dumaguete is a good place to live. And you think, well, what about what she wants? What if she doesn't want to come to Dumaguete? You know, this assumption that because you've got the money, you'll be able to get the woman, and then she'll just follow you wherever you want to go. I don't think life works that way, does it? I mean, doesn't sound like a healthy relationship to me. I mean, what if she wants to stay in Lately, for example? Well, you dump her and you go elsewhere. I mean, if that's what you're looking for a woman who's basically attracted to you because of your money and will do whatever you want, live wherever you go, I don't know, wash and cook for you, and basically let you do whatever you want. Sod what she wants. But what the hell's in it for her? Other than the money. But so many guys seem to have a problem with the money. Why should they give the money? Well, if you're living the lifestyle I just described, then why the hell shouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because you don't seem to be putting anything into the relationship in terms of what she wants to make things work. Anyway, I'm not giving any advice on that anymore because, look, I've been divorced twice. I'm in no place to comment on these things. I just mentioned it because I thought it was amazing how simple it seemed to be in his mind. Go there, get the woman, take her where you want to live, you know, happily ever after. Anyway, so back to what I was saying a minute ago. Why do I think you should come to Dumaguete if you're a single guy? Because one of the things he was right about is this is quite a prosperous city. There are some very wealthy students who go to places like the Heights, okay? And by Filipino standards, the Heights is an expensive place. The drinks are expensive, you know. You can afford to go there. If you can afford to go the Ohio, I mean, they're not cheap places. So obviously the people there have got money. So if you can go to those places and you can meet women there, then you know these women are not primarily attracted with you just for your money. They must like you. They must find you attractive, or I'm guessing they must do, or they like your personality or whatever. Um, isn't that what you're looking for? I mean, isn't that a better way to start a lasting relationship? And you don't need to have a lasting relationship. I mean, this guy, okay, he was having problems finding women in Dumaguete. Well, I'm sorry for him, but I'm 52. I mean, I'm settled down now. You've met Ellen in previous videos. But when I first came to Dumaguete, I didn't have trouble finding one. It's a lot easier in Dumaguete than it is over in Sikyor. I've got a couple of mates here around my age. One of them's a couple of years older. One of them's a bit younger. One of them's got 3 girlfriends on the go at the moment. The other one, he sees 1, 2 different women every day. I'm not exaggerating. I mentioned him in a previous video. The guy who lived next door to me in the place I lived before. Different woman every day. You know, he spends his time on Tinder, goes out and meets them, goes to the gym, lifts his weights, come back. He's usually got a woman knocking on his door. And he's not paying for it. I know that for a fact. So if you've got game, as they call it, you can live a life here quite comfortably, meet women. You know, you go into like the high place like that, you do a bit of dancing, you get a bit of an eye contact, you can talk to it. It's easy. It really is. Possibly not as easy as some other places, but the point is, if you're a single guy and you come here, it might take you 5 months, it might take you 6 months. You might do it dead quickly. It might take you a bit longer. I'm sure it's probably not going to be easy as going to some really poor area in the middle of nowhere where there are no other Westerners. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to have the rock star effect there. You know, people are going to turn their heads and see you because they haven't seen a Westerner before. But is that really the place you want to live if you meet the right person? you know, deal with the blackouts and all the internet things? Or are you just going to uproot her and take her away for her family and take her to somewhere you want to live? She going to be happy with that? She's not going to miss her family and things? My advice, and I say take it with a pinch of salt, find a city where you want to live. Find a place or a town where you're happy. Take your time. You will find someone. And the more affluent the place, the less likely they are to want you just for your money. It's got to be better. If you can find a woman who's got a successful career or a decent paying job, etc., you know, has a choice of affluent Filipino men, younger men, etc., but she chooses you, then that's got to be good, isn't it? And it's definitely doable here. Definitely doable here. Now I get it. Some of you watching this video might be of a certain age. You know, I have some friends that I do the quiz nights with, are like in their 70s. They're not going to want to go to nightclubs. They're not going to go out drinking, wanting to meet women like that. But even so, they've all got girlfriends. You know, they've done it on dating sites, so they'll meet people. See, that's another thing he said. When he went on Tinder, he couldn't find many women in Dumaguete. A lot of them were like, you know, 80 miles away, you know, whatever, and it's so hard to get there on the bus and all this kind of thing because of the roads that you take you hours to get there. Well, you don't need to get there. They'll come and see you. I mean, there is nothing in this area outside of Dumaguete, Pekong, etc. You know, go to places like Tanhai, where Ellen lives. There's not a single bar or nightclub in the whole of the town. So a lot of these people come to weekends. They will come to Dumaguete anyway. So you can meet people in Dumaguete who don't come from Dumaguete, who come from the provinces. You know, you don't have to go to nightclubs and things like that. You can go down, sit on the boulevard, have a meal in a restaurant, you know, sit down, watch one of the live bands. If you're a nice guy and you're friendly, you will meet people here. And if you're living here and you're enjoying living here, it's going to make a much better basis for a relationship. She's not going to resent you for uprooting her. You're not going to resent the fact you're living in somewhere where you don't want to. Anyway, I've gone on now probably too long. I'm just saying, if you're a single guy and you're thinking about coming for the Philippines and you're thinking about somewhere to live, not a holiday, do not be put off Dumaguete. You know, and if anyone who's watched my channel will know, they'll be surprised I'm saying this because it took me a few months to get round to the concept of Dumaguete. I didn't like it when I first came here. I don't know how long this guy who made the video has been in Dumaguete. He was up in Valencia when he made the video. And yeah, there are no bars up in Valencia. You've got a few nice restaurants within like a couple of kilometres of the plaza. But there are no bars or nightclubs up there. But that's not strictly Dumaguete. But I don't know how long he's been here. But however long he's been here, with the greatest respect, mate, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about when it comes to nightlife. Your views on meeting women, well, that's up to you. You do what you want to do. But you're dead wrong about the nightlife. There is nightlife in Dumaguete. And in the 8 months I've been here, every time I go down to the North Point, there's another bar's open, another restaurant's open. It's continually expanding. This is a growing city. There's always something new. So if you're watching this video like in 6 months' time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's 2 more nightclubs in Dumaguete. You know, it's an evolving city. It's growing all the time. And it's not a bad place to live. I'm happy here. Came here as a single guy, you know. Anyway, I've said enough. That's my piece. Sorry if the video went on too long. Hopefully you liked it. If you did, smash the like button. It would be great if you subscribed. Whether you do, whether you don't, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, stay safe, be lucky.